Yeah, I know, but for real though, don't you hate it when you're scrolling through social media or whatever, and you come across like crush yours or whatever, and you see them just spraying the news on their page saying that, oh, I found somebody, I'm in a relationship, or I'm engaged or whatever like that, and you just look at it and be like, oh, that's nice, and then whatever your comment saying congratulations or click like or whatever like that, and then think to yourself, well, that's another one off the list, or at least for now. I mean, unless they get married or whatever, but the odds are getting smaller out there. There's not a lot of fish in the sea, as they want to say. It seems like it's getting very shallow out there, But you ready? Okay, have you been recording? Because I noticed the past couple of times that you keep these little conversations in. Make sure you edit this out. I don't want anybody hearing our business. Okay. All right. You ready? Okay. On this episode, we're going to speak with Laura Klassen with Choice 42, and we're going to talk about what's new with them, and talk about some other things. I'm guessing we're going to might well talk about Popeyes and Chick-fil-A. I mean, everyone else talking about it, and forget all the important stuff in the world. Let's talk about some chicken. So, guess we'll talk about that, and I guess whatever else comes to my mind on this episode of Trend Chat.
From the highways of America, here's the podcast where we talk politics, a little entertainment, some culture, and this and that, from the road to your ears. This is Trend Chat with your host, Brian Bledsoe.
And welcome to another episode of Trend Chat. I am your host, Brian Bledsoe, and if you want to connect with us, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or Snapchat, or even TikTok. It's all the same name, at TrendChat 24/7. First off, just want to thank odgapparel.com for being a brand partner of the podcast. Just if you're looking for stylish Christian apparel, like the Stop Being Dead shirt that I wore on the Chad Prather show, well, most people probably saw it, or hats, mugs, all sorts of accessories. Just check out odgapparel.com. And if you put in the code TrendChat10, you get 10% off on your purchase. So appreciate them. We also got a new podcast partner that we'll bring up later on. So we'll mention that. If you've been following us on social media, then you already know who we're talking about. But if you haven't, for one, let me just say again, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, at TrendChat 24/7 to get all the latest news on this podcast. So just for the purposes of to get more clicks on this podcast. I mean, I am somewhat interested, but I am going to talk about it because this is Trend Chat. So let's talk about this whole debate with Popeyes and Chick-fil-A. I'm not going to talk that long about it. Trust me. I'm not. Honestly, I am saying this so I could put Popeyes and Chick-fil-A in the hashtags, so maybe it get picked up. So I'm just trying to play, with the algorithm that they got going on here. So if you talk about certain things, kind of like if you talk about, AOC, me saying that might all of a sudden get a hit somewhere. I don't know. That's just how it works. So I'm going to just say that. And but for real though, I mean, I didn't get a chance to try the Popeyes chicken sandwich. I heard that it has ran out. First off, let's say we are broadcasting here in Chicago, Illinois, and I guess I should mention that because that's the whole reason why we're a little late posting this, because just being in Chicago in general. But I'll get to that in a minute. So I haven't tried out the Popeyes chicken sandwich. It's funny, it's just been crazy how we got lines coming out the door at Popeyes, and people going back and forth. Some saying Chick-fil-A, some saying Popeyes. Personally, like I said, I didn't get a chance to try Popeyes, so I don't even have that to go by. But as far as Chick-fil-A, I knew they had a chicken sandwich. I mean, I get it all the time here and there, but it wasn't something where I like, oh, this is the best chicken sandwich I've had in my life. I mean, overall, I think Chick-fil-A is the best. It's great. But I mean, just as far as I didn't know there was like some sort of chicken war here going on. But yeah, also for some reason, to me, I feel like this have a tinge of politics in it as well, because like I said, I haven't tasted Popeyes or anything like this, but I feel like there are people that are looking for any other establishment that serves chicken, especially if they're on the liberal side of the aisle. They're looking for anything else that would take away from Chick-fil-A, mainly because of their stance on same-sex marriage and whatever. I feel like there's a little bit of that in there, where they're just like, yeah, we're just going to say Popeye's the best so we can knock Chick-fil-A down a peg, because we don't like their stance on certain issues. I feel like there's a little bit of that in there as well. So enough of that. I'm not going to go anymore, because I don't really, like I said, I haven't even tried it to even have a chance to be that informed on it. So also, I want to mention, well, no, I'm not going to mention that now. I'm going to save that for afterwards. But I've noticed that President Trump looks like he's going to have some primary opponents. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's 2 now. It was named Bill Well, and recently Joe Walsh has announced they're going to run and try to primary the president, which I don't know if I've mentioned this on the podcast. I hope I have, because then if I have, I know I've been thinking it at least, but did I actually put it out on the podcast? Because I knew a long time ago that the president's going to get somebody going to try to primary him. I mean, whether it's successful or not, and the odds are very slim that anybody's going to is going to primary win the nomination over the president. I mean, that's it's slim to none. So I'm more on none. So, but I knew someone was going to try. Actually, I thought someone of more prominence would try, someone like a Mitt Romney or something. Which, hey, I guess he still has time. But yeah. So yeah, this is not surprising at all. And even though right now I think we're at 2, I wouldn't be surprised if we have more than 2. I'm just wondering, are we going to get to the debate phase of this? Is it going to get to the point of where the president going to actually have to have a primary debate? I wonder if we're going to get that far. I don't think so. Like I said, I don't think the support is going to be there enough to warrant a debate. But we'll see. And then, we're going to get to the convention and all that. And I as far as the convention goes, now I'm thinking about it, because I've been asked if I was going to go back to the national convention, because if you don't know, I was a national delegate in 2016 up in Cleveland, and I doubt it, seriously. Personally, I doubt that I'll be going as a delegate. I really doubt I'll be going, because when I went the first time back in 2016, I was thinking of not going back as a delegate, because I don't want to be that, the person that just keeps going back and just holding up a spot for others that could be going and experiencing that, for the first time as well. So I don't want to be that person that just keep going, whatever. And so if anything, and, this is like really in the weeds, but I may try to not be a national delegate through, I guess through the districts or whatever. But, something else. If anything, I'd probably go as media for the podcast. If anything, that's my main objective is to try to go that way. That would take a lot of pressure as far as the other stuff that goes with it. But yeah, like I said, I'm not looking to go as a national delegate again in 2020. So that, but things could change. I honestly do not know. But like I said, I'm just leaning that way of not going in as a national delegate sense, I guess. Also, as of right now, I don't know where the hurricane is, Hurricane Dorian, but the people out in Florida and wherever it's tracking to, last I heard it was at a category 4. I don't know, but hey, whether you're leaving or staying, especially if you're staying, stay safe out there, and yeah. So hope everything doesn't go too bad out there in Florida as far as damage goes and whatnot. So y'all, hope everything doesn't, like I said, hope it doesn't turn out to be one of the worst as far as damage goes. I mean, because it's a hurricane. If it hits land, it's going to cause damage one way or another. I just hope it just doesn't cause too much, and I hope everyone has had everything updated as far as flood insurance. I mean, like insurance in general for hurricanes. Hope you have everything set. Got your food and whatnot, and guess like the perishable foods, and got that out, and you're prepared. I hope you're as prepared as possible. So, yeah, hope everything goes well for as well as possible out there for the people that are affected with this hurricane. So, as I said, we're going to talk with Laura Klassen coming up, and like I said, we're going to talk about actually this interview was done a little over a month ago, and I'll mention a little bit about that because some things changed. Well, some things has happened, and where I will mention before we start with the interview. But before we get there, let's hear a word from my friends from the Founding Project.
Hello to fans of Trend Chat and Brian Bledsoe. The Founding Project, an education nonprofit dedicated to civics, invites you to visit our brand new website. Visit us at thefoundingproject.com. Be a part of the civics movement with The Founding Project. The Founding Project is a 501c3 education nonprofit. Please join us today.
Hey, what's up? This is Kai Jones, and you're listening to me on Trend Chat.
Before we get to my interview with Laura, I did want to mention right quick that recently David Koch died, and people, if you don't know, like he was a very prominent, I would say libertarian. That's more the best way of I would say, as far as political beliefs go. And he was well, for one, he was one of the the founders of Americans for Prosperity, which was an organization I was volunteering for. That's one of the first organizations that I really was involved with as far as the Grassroots Leadership Academy and stuff they were doing there, and going to their events and everything. That was like one of the first. It was them, Heritage Action, and Freedom Works. Actually, those are the three that I was like really, really focused as far as volunteering, I guess. And so like like I said, David Koch, he died recently. And the thing about that is that reason why I'm bringing it up, not only just to mention that, is also the hearing the cheering from the liberals out there, leftists that were so overjoyed about hearing the passing of someone that they deemed basically an enemy. So because they disagreed with his philosophies, and honestly, they didn't disagree as much as they probably think they do. But that being said, because he was wealthy and he supported a lot of candidates that they didn't like, and they didn't hold back as far as their feelings for David Koch, and they made it known. Bill Maher in particular, and had some very vile things to say about, and on top of many others on social media especially. And I mean, it's not like I'm not surprised by it, not only because of that, but also, I mean, these are the same people who cheer for abortion, who are same people that will be in New York, and when they pass a bill to kill a child right up to the day of birth, and then they think that is the right thing to do to kill a child, and they cheer that in the halls of their capital up in New York and other places as well. So these are the same people that cheer that, and that are happy to hear about someone dying because they disagreed politically. So that doesn't surprise me. All that being said, because I want to flip this around on us on the right, because this is one thing where I'm pretty sure I know I'm not going to be the only one when this happens. Because look, when I say this, it's not like I'm wishing death on someone. This is inevitable, because one, we're talking about someone that is very, very old, and the time will come. So let's put it that way. And so we here on the right, we have, there's plenty of people who are, I guess, will be equivalent to David Koch. So let's say, for instance, like I said, George Soros. So George Soros is the very, I don't know, was in 80s or 90s or whatever. He's basically kind of the equivalent of David Koch in a way, as far as someone that is very wealthy and that has been out there and putting his money back in all these liberal, progressive, quote unquote progressive policies. Okay, so the time will come when he'll die one day. Don't know when. Like I said, it's not me wishing death upon anyone, but like I said, when the day comes, unfortunately, there are going to be people on the right going to be basically saying the same thing all these liberals are doing today, the past week or so. And I would think that's just as wrong too. I'm going to say that right now before it even happens, because I know it's going to happen. And if you listen to this and you think it's not going to happen, I can bet you it, as much as I can, at least, that it's going to happen. It might almost be word for word. You're going to have people that are going to say the exact same thing, the same vile things that you've heard about David Koch. On the day of someone like George Soros, when he dies, it's going to be the same thing. And this is where I totally disagree on that sense, as far as that thought of cheering someone dying. I don't care who you are. I don't care about your politics. When it comes to people dying or death, this is not something to be cheerful for. Cheerful in the sense, like, I mean, unless we're talking about someone that is a Christian and something like that. In that sense, personally, I would say then I'd be somewhat happy, because then their suffering will be over and they'll be with the Lord. In that sense, then that will be something to be happy for. But I'm saying as far as people that are, that are just, we're glad he's dead because we don't want him, because he did this and that, and I disagreed with, I hated what he did for the country and all that. As the Christian in me is not gonna go there with that, because if someone that I disagree with politically, and I'll also say personally, I think your politics is influenced by your theology being whatever your view of God is. And everyone has a theology. It just depends on whether it's right or not. Because if you're atheist, that's your theology. Your theology is that you don't believe there is a God, but that's your theology. So for someone that thinks differently of that, personally, as a Christian, I would hope, and regardless of the person, I would hope that the person would be saved and trust and believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. And although the fruit of their life would show that, like I said, I have no clue. I'm not God. I can't, judge anyone. But we are told to look at the fruit that they bear and what they have done, and so just going by that, that's all you can go by. And I would just hope that anyone, regardless of their politics, that they would repent of their sin and then, trust and believe in Christ. So that's what I think of for anyone, whether we're talking about David Koch or George Soros. So that's just something that I was that I've been thinking about since all this has been going down, is that when it comes to people meeting, coming to the end of their life, it's not a time to be, I'm more focused on if I know someone's at the end of their life, I'm more focused on them saving their soul, preparing for the next life. I would hope for them to be saved. That's what I would hope. Not to be sitting back waiting for someone to die because I don't like their politics. So, and I want to make sure I'm saying that now, because like I said, it's going to come, and I may still be doing a podcast when that happens. And so I can always come back to this and because I know it's going to happen. Unfortunately, I hope it doesn't. I would hope people will hear this and understand that that's not the best thing to do. It's horrible, actually, is to sit back and just be cheerful over a person's death. I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure people can bring up what about mass murderers and stuff like that. Okay, I will, in the same sense, it still goes back for me. I mean, it still goes back as far as wanting someone to be reconciled to Christ. That's my first thought in all of this. Everything else is kind of secondary. I don't know how you feel about that and hearing it, but for me, it's all about I want the person to be reconciled to Christ, regardless of whatever they did. That's what I want. So, anyway, that's just something. Yeah, it's something that kind of came across and just want to bring up. But so we're like I said, we're gonna get to our interview with Laura. So it's funny because so here we are talking about death and all that, and so but this now we're going to transition in talking about life. So like I said, we're going to talk with Laura Klassen right after these word-filling politics. Hello, this is Brian Bledsoe, host of Trend Chat, also contributor at politichicks.com. Here to tell you about the new book called Politichicks, A Clarion Call to Political Activism, with over 300 pages from contributors like myself, talking about topics such as education, social issues, healthcare, the Second Amendment, and of course, activism. I encourage you all to check it out at politichicks.com, and is also available at Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
Hey everybody, it is Chad Prather, host of the Chad Prather Show. You are listening to Trend Chat with my man, Brian Bledsoe. Come on with it.
Hello, this is Trend Chat, and we are very pleased to have a returning guest with us. I would say she is the main reason, the only reason, that Trend Chat is being listened to in Canada. So, and I definitely wanted to bring her back, so we can boost those Canada numbers up as well as everywhere else, but especially Canada. So, we're talking with Laura Klassen. She is the director of Choice 42, and we're just going to talk about a couple of things and what's new with Choice 42, and especially with the new video that was released. So, hey, how you doing?
Hi, I'm good, thanks.
So, I guess let's start off with the new video that was recently released. When I saw a picture of it, I saw a puppy in your hand. I'm like, okay, where's this going? So, what is it about?
Yeah, so that one's about puppy abortion, which is an actual thing. And as it turns out, people are very upset when they find out that puppy abortion happens, but they're not upset that human abortion is happening. So that's why we made that video.
And when you released it, did it, as far as, I guess, with Facebook and all the other platforms, you get a lot of, I guess, haywire kind of messing with your views and all that. Was this the same?
Yeah, well, Twitter took it down almost immediately. I think, within the first 20 minutes, it was gone. And then, same as Facebook, people were saying they couldn't watch it, it wasn't playing. So I think our mistake might have been that we announced when we were going to do it. And so we probably won't be doing that again. But yeah, that was really annoying.
Oh, okay. So so you would just have to, I guess, upload it again and...
No. I just complain about it, because if you complain about something publicly on social media, that's the only way it gets fixed. If you go through all the proper channels of reporting it and all this, they just ignore it. So I just pretty quickly made a stink about it, and it came back.
Okay, well,
yeah.
That's what you have to do nowadays, because it seems like
that
they try to take every chance they can to try to basically create new ways to try to either just be annoying. If they can't just outright take you off, just ignore you to death.
Yeah, it's really annoying, and there's no way that it just so happens that we have an issue every single time we upload a new video. No way. Other people, makeup companies and stuff that my friends are running, none of them ever have any of these issues. So yeah, it's pretty irritating.
Yeah. Now, one thing I've noticed in the past couple of months was, I guess, something that we here in the States didn't really have to consider so much is like the movie I'm playing. So that was released in the States, and it got some news because of the subject and all that. But as far as being able to see it, it wasn't difficult to go to the theater and see it. But that wasn't the case in Canada, right?
Right. Yeah. It was a huge process to bring it to Canada, because they couldn't find a distributor, and they couldn't, Cineplex said no, and we had a petition going, and just a ton of stuff was going on. It took a couple months, and then finally they got it into, I believe it was 40-something theaters across Canada, and it only played for 1 week, and that was it. But so Canadians got to see it, at least. Some Canadians got to see it, but man, even some of the theaters that agreed to show it, they received threats against their employees and their employees' families if they were going to show unplanned. So, like, one of the theaters in British Columbia decided, this is too serious. We can't risk this for our employees, so they decided not to show it. And that happened in a couple other theaters around the country as well.
Yeah, like I said, that's something that we in the States didn't have to, at least we didn't have to worry about the movie not being released, or even if it's going to be released, having people threatened as opposed to getting it put in theaters. But yeah,
right.
In Canada, that's another reason why we want to bring you on, for people that are listening and maybe don't realize things are different in Canada. I know we talked about it before, in the first time you was on, but again, for the people that maybe didn't hear the first time you was on, which if they haven't, shame on you. But if you haven't, if you haven't, when it comes to the issue of abortion in particular, it's a different deal in Canada, right?
Yeah, it really is. Very different atmosphere. We have no abortion law, I guess, which is the largest problem. So, it's just crazy what's going on up here.
Because you don't have any abortion law in Canada, and also when someone, like yourself and Choice 42 are out here trying to advocate for life, it can be, and also up in Canada, when it comes to just speech in general, it's different too.
Right.
So
yeah. Yeah, that's the crazy. Like, we don't have free speech protected the way that you guys do. So, if someone interprets what you're saying to be hate speech, you can get charged with hate speech crime. So that's the tricky thing about Canada.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, even just doing the videos that you're doing now, it seems like it has to watch out as far as language goes.
Yeah, we try and be careful. Like, we're not attempting to get in trouble by breaking any hate speech laws, whatever those might be, but at the same time, trying to get our message out that abortion is human killing, and that is something that offends people. Yeah. So they might interpret that as hate speech. Like, it's just wild.
When you're talking about, if you're talking about this particular issue and about abortion, I'm guessing, have you been informed by, Canadian government about, okay, you can't say certain words, do things a certain way because they'll be interpreted as hate speech? How is it? Well, I guess, anything is really possible when you talk about what can be interpreted as hate speech. But I'm just wondering, have you been personally told that, okay, this is considered hate speech, even though it clearly is not?
No, they haven't clarified, to my knowledge, what that would look like in terms of abortion.
Okay.
So, but then again, it's kind of whatever offends people.
Yeah.
And then whatever they take issue with, that's what they can interpret as hate speech.
Well, hopefully none of that happens, and just everything just keeps moving on, as well as possible. What's new with Choice for Two? Given that you already mentioned that you're not going to release, you're not going to, tell us when another video is coming out because of what has happened. But I guess
right.
Tell us what you can about what's new.
Well, we've already filmed 2 more in the Just Saying series. So those will be coming out, and we're about to film another one, which is different. It's a new idea. I'm really excited about that one, and that should be out this fall. So videos coming along, and we've really upped our presence online in terms of reaching women who are facing unplanned pregnancy, which has become way more important now that the bubble zone laws are in. I don't know if you know about those up here in Canada.
No. What is it?
So I think it was about last year, they put in a law that you are not allowed to basically sidewalk counsel outside of abortion clinics. You're not allowed to do anything that could be interpreted as pro-life outside of an abortion clinic. And within, I believe it's 150 feet from the clinic. Yeah, and that actually includes you're not even allowed to wear a pro-life T-shirt and walk past the clinic. So, yes, we know that because we tested that. And, yeah, so since we can't do that, and that is such an effective way of reaching women, right, like right in their last moments, we were really doing most of it online anyway. So we've really upped that, and we really are connecting with so many women, and like the stories are just wild. I'm talking just today with a woman here in Canada who wants to get an abortion, and she's now 30 weeks pregnant. And it's just heartbreaking talking to her because she keeps calling her baby it. And, you know, like that's what we're dealing with. And she's allowed to do that up here.
Yeah. Well, one thing I've noticed too from on your social media pages, you share stories of, positive stories of people that you have reached out to and have, or
right.
Yes. I mean, I guess tell us a little bit about those stories.
Yeah. So the cool thing, really, with our online initiative is that most women, like probably in the 90th percentile, they choose to keep their babies after we connect with them. And these are women who initially were considering abortion. So it's just amazing to see how, the support, it means so much to these women. And, it's not just the conversation and the encouragement. Like we actually do help women. So one of the things that we do is online baby registries, which we've set up. Women tell us, what they might need for themselves or their babies. And, it can even be things not baby related, like maybe they need gas money or they need something like that. And so we make these registries, we set it up, and then we put them out to the public. And pro-lifers from across the world really purchase these items, and they're delivered directly to the mom's house. So it's just a really effective way of practically helping these women, and it's been working really well.
Okay. I was seeing that on your pages, and I definitely, especially for anyone who was listening, and maybe they will catch some of that and maybe want to help out as well. And I mean, is there like something on Choice 42 that would, if they want to help out, that would direct them for that?
It's more on our social media.
Okay.
On the Choice for Two Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram pages. That's where we post them. And people are so generous. Like, our registries get bought up usually within an hour or two. And we're talking like some of these registries have like 50 to 100 items. Mm-hmm. And they're just bought by people who don't even know these women, just people who want to help out. So it's really encouraging to know, pro-lifers are actually putting their money where their mouth is and wanting to help these women.
Well, we're basically kind of at the end. So if people want to find all of those social media pages and, want to connect with you, where would they go on social media and everywhere?
Just Choice for Two, anywhere. Search for Choice for Two. And we have links to everything on our website, which is Choice42, like choice42.com.
All right. Well, Laura, I appreciate you coming on, and we look forward to having you back on again soon.
Thanks for having me again.
Hey guys, this is John Miller with Blaze TV. You are listening to Trend Chat with Brian Bledsoe.
And thanks to Laura for joining us. And first off, let me go ahead and say, because I know I mentioned earlier, So that interview was about a month ago, and this was before they released their newest video, where she was basically what she was showing, the ultrasounds of babies, and I say you should check that out as well on Facebook, all over, everywhere you can see Choice 42. Definitely check out their newest video, because the one we were talking about was the puppy abortion one that was the one previous. And now, if you we're hearing an interview that what she mentioned about not announcing the next time that they're going to release another one. So that's what happened recently with their newest one, and so they just put it out there. And so I think it's one of their best. I think you should check that out as well. And again, thanks to Laura for joining us. And speaking of that, just wanted to give a shout out to Culture of Life, especially talking about this talking about the life issue. We want to mention about Culture of Life, COL1972.com. Check them out. There's a pro-life fashion line with lots of a variety of different apparel, and that will be that help for the pro-life movement. And definitely hope for you to check them out at COL1972.com. And if you put in the code TrendChat, just name of the podcast, put in TrendChat as a code, you get 10% off of whatever you purchase on the site. So give them a look on COL1972.com. Now, I mentioned earlier that we are broadcasting here in Chicago, Illinois, and that's one reason why we are a little late as far as this episode being posted. And I guess I should mention a little bit as to why. Not that I hope you care. Hope you care about my well-being, because that's what it was about. The reason why, because last night when we were about to record, if you don't know, I guess I'm a truck driver, so I'm drive all 48 states, and so I was in the Chicago area, and I was delivering a load last night, and I was not to get all into the minutia of the DOT regulations, but I was running out of time and I need to find a place to park. So the company that I'm contracted to has a area for me to park, but it's outside of the Chicago area. So anyway, I had to go into near downtown Chicago and had to deliver, and I had to pick up a load, and I was running out of time, and they needed to load the trailer and all that. And I asked them how long was it going to take, and they said it was going to take a couple of hours. I said, I don't have a couple of hours. They said, well, you can. So this is what happened. So when I mentioned that I don't have that much time, they said, well, you could park overnight over here beside the facility. And when I asked them where, they said it was basically on the side of the road, And I was not about to do that, because although they approved it, right, I could get loaded, and then I could go out and park down the road, but basically I would just be parking on the side of the road. And I'm not and remind you, I'm talking about this is Chicago, so so I wasn't trying to be sitting out there in the middle out there on the side of the road out there in the middle of Chicago, so I was like, no, thank you. I would just come back tomorrow. And so anyway, all that being said, I was like, I need to get on, need to do the podcast. And all of that delayed everything to the point to where when I finally got parked and ready to go, it was like too late. Cause by the time I got everything together, I'm like, it would have been Friday morning anyway, like 1 o'clock in the morning by the time I would have even started. So I was like, I might as well just wait. until today. And then today it was just went on. And so, yeah, that was the delay. And so that was the reason why, in case you wanted to know. So before we go, in another effort to get more clicks on this here podcast, we're going to talk about old Tay-Tay. If you don't know who I'm talking about Taylor Swift. That's, Tay-Tay. So the Video Music what was it? I'm trying to think. The Video Music Awards, yeah, that was this week. Didn't watch 1 second of it, but I heard enough and heard about what Tay-Tay had to say about her advocacy for the Equality Act, which is not equality. It's everything but that, but it has a nice name. That's what, all these bills are intended to sound positive, but they're not. And so, anyway, I only mention that because if you think in 2016 that these celebrities and, these entertainers were obnoxious, if you thought that back in 2016, now think back to 2016. Most people thought Hillary was a lock. It was a sure bet. So most of these celebrities were just trying to get out in front to say like, hey, I supported the first female president, because that's what they thought. That's what they were thinking back then. We've had now, Trump has been in the White House for, over 3 years now. And, they've been screaming and wailing all that time. So if you think back then when they thought they had it in the bag, that they were getting on your nerves, just imagine what they're going to be like not even next year. They're already there now. But think about when it gets closer to in 2020. Because, it's not going to stop. I mean, every award show, they're going to get in front of every screen they can get their face in front of and try to just make their case, their futile case, I would say. But they're going to be all out in full force as far as getting behind anybody, anything, as long as anything, it could be whatever. So I mean, it's going to get to the point. Let's say, for instance, so some going to be like overt with it, right? They're going to just be out there just screaming about Trump. Trump's a racist, sexist, all the phobes. We're all going to die unless you vote for, insert anything, or honestly, anything. It could be a can of dirt, as long as that can of dirt, whatever it is that can get Trump out of the White House, they will be for it. So, and they're going to be screaming about that for as long as possible. I mean, like I said, if you thought it was bad when, what was it, Beyonce and Jay-Z was out there for Hillary and all that, yeah, they're going to, I can only imagine it's how over the top they're going to be. And then you're going to have others, right? You're gonna have those other celebrities or entertainers that gonna try to be subtle about it, and they're gonna, because they don't want to go too far out there, because they don't want to alienate their paying customers. So they'll maybe make some nice little soft plea towards it. It'd be something like, let's talk about the divisiveness of our country right now. All civil discourse not being as civil as it used to be, and hate running so rampant these days in our country, and everything is just so sad in the world. I mean, given the fact that we're just going to totally ignore as far as, we're just going to act like all this started back in 2016, because everything was just so wonderful. When Obama, when their guy was in office, everything was just, sunshine and rainbows. Everything was just wonderful. So just but forget that. But yeah. So let's get out the vote and show that we're better than this. That we're better than hate. And love Trump's hate. So yeah, it'd be something like that. So, but so yeah, you'll have those subtle, little commercials or whatever. But yeah, all of them everything's gonna be just let's get Trump out of office. And that's what, all these entertainers, like I said, the liberals, entertainment media, this is gonna be such a concentrated, just full on. I'm wondering how they're gonna do it, because they're gonna try everything, right? They're gonna do everything, because they have been, for one, the fact that Hillary didn't win, and the fact that they've been having these 3 years now so far with Trump, and how they just been losing their minds. And yeah, also I think it's going to be quite dangerous, because these people are going to do whatever necessary, by any means necessary. The ends justify the means justify the ends. Yeah, all of that is going to be next year, because they, as AOC will say, they feel like the end of the world is here, because of Trump. All because of Trump. And that's the reason why the world is just going to end. I mean, you even have, Republicans even saying that nonsense trash. Anyway, so yeah, all that said, to announce our new podcast partner, which is Trumpmug.com. So let me say that, because it's the first time I'm mentioning it. So Trump Mug, Trump, obviously like President Trump, and Mug, MUG.com. Trump Mug. So you can go there, get all sorts of accessories, all sorts of socks, hats, signs, mugs, obviously, because it's Trumpmug.com. They have a lot of mugs with like liberal tears mugs. They have a mug saying where this is the mug full of the tears. I forgot what it was. I should have pulled that up. But yeah, they got a number of mugs. But like I said, they have signs, flags, everything on Trumpmug.com. So they're our new podcast partner, and we're excited to have them on as a podcast partner. Gotta get used to saying that, because now we have 4 now. So and I guess I mentioned them right now. So I mentioned odgapparel.com, and if you Trend Chat 10, get 10% off on 10% of your purchase there. 1776united.com, 76militia-Trend Chat is the code. Get 20% off there. Cultural Life, COL1972.com, code Trend Chat, get 10% off there. And again, with our new partner, Trumpmug.com. And on there, if you put in the code Trend Chat, name of this podcast, you get 10% off there as well. So yeah, I thank all of them for being a podcast partner. I appreciate them being a supporter. And yeah, so that's our new podcast partner, and that is the end of our show. We're at the end here. So I appreciate everyone listening. Again, 5-star reviews, like, share, subscribe. You know what I'm going to say. Like, share, subscribe, because it's true. We need all of that. And so 5-star reviews, everything. I appreciate everyone doing all of that. So I think I mentioned last episode that we were going to have Molly Hemingway and Kara Ciavino on, but we changed that because we want to hold on to that until close to when the 1-year anniversary of Justice Kavanaugh being in Supreme Court. So we're going to wait on that. So until next week, which I don't know who's going to be on. I guess you have to check on social media to find out. So until then, we'll chat with you later.